banned Pantheon as well. Karma is going to be the last ban. I was just about to shout it out as a possibility, but it remains locked away. I think the most permaban champion in the LPL is actually Karma, Yanni. So that will stay the case, and Varus, like you mentioned, will be a lockup here. Top could just go for the Pantheon, and then maybe pair it up with a... I mean, you've still got, like, the Corki Nami is available, the Yunara Lulu is available, so if they wanted to do, like, a Pantheon Yunara, I think that that is an option here, just to get a very strong jungle bot lane combo.
Yeah, the problem is you don't have these bot laners that you're able to pair it up with, right? Because Lulu and Nami are gone, so...
Yeah.
We'll have to see what the option is for top esports. We'll see if they early pick mid here, right? If they want to get their first pick of a strong mid-jungle duo. We've kind of moved away from that a little bit. You still see it at times, but, you know, I like an Ahri, I like a Talia here. All right. Like a much maligned champion. If we really want to put JiaQi level on Jhin duty, we can. All right, this seems a lot better.
Jace
We're gonna go pick the Jace early.
Yeah, so Zoyan is going to lock himself the Jace early here. I mean, if Bim wanted to, he could counterpick with that Yorick. That is certainly a choice for him. Does well in the laning phase and also does give some of that split push pressure over to BLG. But with the immobility of Jace, I do like this lock-in here. Nocturne going to be the answer. And Nico also available, so if they wanted to get their bot lane just paired up immediately here, I think that Nico Varus is good in the lane, and then Nocturne Nico is a very potent way to start out fights.
It's so deadly. I personally would really love that. Not sure if I'm really liking Bin on a tank, but they are going to throw him on the Scion. This is one thing that I wanted to see in their series versus Team WE is Bin on a tank, because I want to see him be able to play all facets of the game if we want to see continued success for BLG throughout the year. So I'm getting my wish, but it's not in a matchup that I really wanted to see it.
Does decently well into the Jace, just being able to survive against him. And also does give BLG some frontline. So I think that this leads me to believe we'll probably see an Enchanter come out here for On. Obviously not surprised, as they are, you know, flavorful in the meta at the current moment. But I'm really curious what Knight is going to go, because looking at the champions he's played so far this split, adding on the Akali, he has had 8 unique picks over the course of this split here, Yanni. No champion has been played more than once. So I think it is really, he's been rouletting the characters in mid here. So I'm interested to see what he'll go up against Creme's Aurora, who does play to his strengths as a player as well. We do know Creme for his laning phase and burst champions, and Aurora definitely fitting that bill.
Second half of bans coming through. Top Esports aiming at this mid lane, taking out the Annie. BLG banning the Sivir, which I think would have been a really excellent pick for Top Esports. I'm curious to see if Top Esports are just going to go and lock in the Jhin if it's left available, because, you know, despite the fact that people dislike the champion, I think it really fits the Top Esports team comp here as something that they sorely need, because your only CC is the form of your Pantheon stun, which is incredibly short-ranged.
The support picks as well are really limited here for both Fengyue and On, so I'm extra curious what they're going to be locking in here alongside their respective AD carry picks here. But Top have yet to pick their bot lane, so I feel like this could maybe be an angle where you try to go like the Xayah Rakan, like that could be something, but instead, they're just going to opt to go for the Corki here. So, Nami being banned away was the first ban by BLG. What are you planning on pairing up with this guy if that is the case? But Yunara also being hovered. So, no, it's going to be the Corki locked in here.
Both of these confuse me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what we're pairing up with it. I think that we're maybe just looking for general power in the bottom lane, and we're hoping that our support pick will just counter essentially the BLG team. I do like that they're saving support for this, but I'm not sure I really agree with this Corki pick.
Yeah, and we do see the Alistar being hovered here by On. Just another engage tool for them to use and also create space for the Varus. So I do like the look of this one, but now we're going to be seeing the Mel hover here by Knight, and it's going to be locked in. There are a couple of things that you can rebuttal, but I don't think the full value of it is present here in this game unless we do see something from Fengyue. And Leona would be really good. I mean, it's like it's a counter pick for the Mel because of the Zenith Blade interaction, and also does give you some more engage, which I think Top Esports desperately need. So they're going to lock in the Rakan, who I've said before, I think does struggle to start the fight up if he is the only guy starting the fight up. So I think not only is he going to have to link up with TN in those late game engages to, you know, get the ball rolling, but also the skirmishing power of Pantheon Rakan is really, really effective. So early looks here from Top Esports with Fengyue and TN is going to be super important for just trying to control the map and limit Shun's resources to get level 6 as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I like it a little bit more than the Leona against the Alistar, right? Because Leona is very one-track. You are going in, and you're only going in one direction. Alistar is going to be able to stop that, but Rakan can take multiple pathways. Now, thinking about both of these compositions, Quax, I mean, I think this Top Esports composition really spikes hard on 2 items with this Jace, with this Aurora, with this Corki. So if they get disrupted in this early game, and they're not able to get to that spike smoothly, I think they could be in big, big trouble.
This certainly feels like a game where Top Esports are in a little bit more of a timer. They had the advantage of double marksman and scaling going into game number 1, which isn't really present here. So it's just a test for Top Esports to see if they can play both sides of the coin. Can they play the game where they stall out against BLG? The answer to that question was yes, as they won game 1. Now the question is, can they bulldoze BLG pretty significantly early here in game number 2?
Well, Quax, we're about to find out. Game 2, Summoner's Rift, BLG, Top Esports. Knight back on that Mel that he had such a phenomenal series on, or phenomenal game, I should say, against Weibo Gaming. See how things go for BLG, especially out of the jungle. It felt like Shun made some good early plays, but was a little muted after that. Both of these junglers kind of want to just farm until 6 Quacks, but there is still gank potential for both of them before.
There's also invade potential here from TN on the bot side early. We can already see just how aggressive Fengyue and JiaQi are posturing to try and poke out Viper and On. And that's because Alistar is really difficult to be useful. It's very difficult to be useful as a level 1 Alistar because you don't have access to that full headbutt pulverized combo. So they're going to try and use and abuse that.
Okay, heal out of On here is JiaQi and Fengyue doing a great job in the laning phase. I really thought their game 1 laning phase was solid, but here especially to start game 2 looking hot.
I'm curious if TN is going to try and cross over the river at all. It doesn't look like he's going to. Again, I think if TN can look for any opportunities to disrupt the Nocturne pre-6, he should absolutely take them, but just doesn't feel comfortable doing that quite yet. And maybe that is the wiser choice. I mean, JiaQi is close to about half HP here, so anything that can put the Corki in jeopardy, probably not worth it at this point. But still, again, it now allows Shun to get a full cordial first clear, and no disruptions probably going to be had on the first round of camp by the junglers.
I think it's a pretty big benefit to Shun specifically, right? Yep. I think that, you know, even if you disrupt the Pantheon a little bit and he's not able to get to 6 right away, you know, it's annoying for sure, but I think it's more detrimental to a Nocturne. So we'll be paying very close attention to see what our second crab looks like here in this game. Early lanes looking to be pretty much in favor of Top Esports outside of the mid lane, as you know, that Mel poke is very difficult to deal with at times.
And we saw Shun take it early back. He actually didn't opt to stay on map for Crab. I think that's because he knows TN started his Raptor, so maybe he wants to try with this push in mid from Knight to contest him on those respawns. He would have an item advantage doing so. So that could be a move. Yeah, we do see the pings coming through here. Teleport as well from Viper, so the Varus will be in the area in case more people need to be involved, but he's actually not going to look for the invade. So doesn't try and contest TN is just going to return to his own top side. We'll walk over a ward as well, so top esports know at least where this Nocturne is and know that he already backed.
Very solid coverage out of top esports, and so far very restrained gameplay for a team that it's easy for them to get a little aggressive. Your range into melee top side, your Corki down on this bottom side, who is going to be notably stronger than the Varus that doesn't have a second combat summoner. We can see that aggressiveness is starting to shine through a little bit here. Knockup is there. A little bit of a trade back here means that JiaQi and Fengyue are both near half HP.
And both of these marksmen looking to opt into the tier items, so I'm really going to have to be paying attention to who manages to stack it better here in this laning phase, because once that is complete and you build that second item, that's really, you know, we already talked about top esports having a major influx of damage once they hit 2 items. Viper takes JiaQi quite low.
Oh, even lower too. This is a great trade. Viper was in the 2v1 and manages to keep JiaQi and Fengyue away. It is not exactly what you want to see this early on if you are a top esports 80 carry. 10 seconds until the dragon is up. I imagine we're not going to see too much action until the second crab, which should be spawning shortly. Will be the difference in level 6 for both of these junglers.
It's spawning on the top side as well, and you can see that TN is ending his clear in that area, so Shun is going to have to cross all the way over. Fengyue is actually, you can see, diverting his path toward the bot lane and maybe looking to roam out on the map a little bit more. Dragon started up by Shun. I think he knows he won't get this crab, so he's trying to get level 6 from the objective instead.
Oh, and I like this. Tien recognizes that that is something that's going to happen, so he's going to try to make a timer here on mid lane. He's going to flash after Knight. They short the knockup, but they're still going to be able to find the BLG mid laner. It's first blood to Creme.
Yeah, really good snap engage there by top esports. Doesn't initially land the knockup from Fengyue, so the CC train can't continue, but it doesn't matter.
He could be in big trouble here. Drops the hammer down on the bin.
Pops the pot.
He'll knock him back for the moment. We'll flash over to the side. As BLG's top laner quite low. Tien is now level 6, which means there is a dive opportunity available to top esports with no match on the other side.
Yeah.
Instead, they will just allow Zhuan to do what he wants to this top turret. Meanwhile, Shun will trade back on the bottom side.
JiaQi has to be really careful. Fengyue is completely split from him. Will spot Shun on the reset, so we'll actually cancel that.
Oh, Zhuan up very far, trying to get close to Tien. Tien, the savior, with the stun, picks up the kill.
Yeah,
Run, Zhuan!
Tien.
Run!
Okay, the gate saves him. Extra speed up.
Here we go. Wait, Nocturnal coming down to the bottom side. Great flash from JiaQi, just trying to keep himself alive. Barriers out too, on, tanks up the turret perfectly. Now they could look for a redive. Knight is on the way down as well. Fengyue is on an island all alone. He is knocked up and locked down, and it's Viper getting a kill.
Well played dive there from BLG, and well played cross map as well. I mean, top esports investing a lot of resources to make that play onto Bin, and Tien as well showing himself, so you know that a Grand Starfall isn't going to be coming from Narnia to respond. And JiaQi in that dive forced to use his flash pretty early on, so he doesn't really have much in the wake of escapes to try and get out of there. But Bin felt comfortable trying to take this fight because of the hammer slam coming out there from Zhuan. That's like the main form of damage you have when you're in melee queue. But Tien stuck around in the area, does manage to make the difference, and yeah, now 2-2 in kills, but both teams very close in gold, though. Zhuan does have prio in top here, and these grubs are coming up in about 10 seconds, so I would imagine with the amount of side lane play that both of these comps have, this is going to be an objective that has a lot of value as the game goes on.
Yeah, and it seems like top esports shouldn't have too difficult of a time trying to take it because their solo laners are ahead, right? You know, so... You know, even though your bottom lane's behind, it's okay as long as it doesn't get much worse. From this point onward, it looks like Tien's going to finish up his clear and head up there. We did say that this top esports composition needs to not get disrupted early. There's a little bit of that disruption on JiaQi right now. Yeah. We'll see top esports not be on full power in this mid game, but should still be relatively strong.
And I think those cross-map plays that we saw from BLG are going to be a lot more optional and available in the future for BLG. Like, if they want to go for dives, they've got the Unbreakable, they've got the ult from Shun as well. So there are plenty of tools that they can use to just dive JiaQi under his own turret. So Fengyue has to be very conservative with his roams. He's going to go on a timer now. BLG spot that out, so maybe they just look onto JiaQi. You can see he has to play so safe under his turret. And now Fengyue, he's forced to, you know, abandon the roam he wanted to go for just to protect his AD carry. This is kind of what TES did to BLG last time, where they were constantly looking onto Viper, forcing On to not be super proactive around the map.
Yeah, and again, they're just focusing down JiaQi, trying to keep him off his spikes. You know, he's so far away from a Trinity Force. Meanwhile, his top laner has completed his first item. It's a much cheaper item, but it's still done regardless. You know, Creme's going to be getting on this item soon enough. So really great stuff here coming out of the BLG jungler. And now going to look to make his first big play with his ultimate outside of that bot lane on to the Pantheon, but now they're going to have the turnaround. Shun getting quite low, but not with the knock-up showing up. Zwayon will survive, and it's Creme that gets the kill. Stuns down onto Zwayon, marked up and taken down by Knight, and now here's the root on top of it, but they're not able to go for more because this teleport is coming in from Fengyue. The timing isn't quite there, and he's able to slide out and get to Creme to prevent any further damage.
Yep, 1-for-1 trade there. BLG just looking to punish TN for going on to that Raptor camp, but Bin was a little too far away and they didn't have the damage after the initial push.
Between worlds, roots down, Pantheon over the top. Nice flash to be able to dodge the headbutt as Knight will fall. Now they'll look for On next. They won't be able to find anything more, but Top Esports are in position to take the Dragon if they want.
Yeah, it's going to be up in about 10 seconds here. Knight does have teleport, but it'll be difficult for him to access this river, especially when all of the BLG members are going to be looking to try and enter through this bot side. Maybe he TPs to the bot lane to join up with the rest of his team, but Top Esports have already started up the Dragon, and that TP from the Mel is coming in, but this Drake is coming to very close to half HP, though Shun does have ultimate.
Yeah, Fengyue's not there. On goes in. Ultimate from Viper does not land. Here comes Fengyue, ready to make his impact. Knock-up splits everybody. Knight looking pretty good on HP as they force Top Esports away, but he wants a little bit more. So Snare's not going to land. Instead, it's going to be BLG picking up their second Dragon of the game.
Some fancy footwork coming out there from Shun in particular, dodging out on Fengyue's engages and making it very difficult for Top Esports to stick onto this Nocturne and single out any one target from BLG. Does net them the second Dragon, so Fengyue got canceled.
Yes, he shorts it. We'll have to hop over the wall to TN. Meanwhile, up in the top side, Shun gonna drop the Paranoia down. Zwayon is gonna flash on the wrong side of the map and get taken out.
Kind of feels a little bit not necessary to flash there from Zwayon. I feel like he should have understood that he was dead. So it's not only the kill going over to Shun and accelerating this Nocturne, who now it's his second of the game, by the way. So he is in a very good spot, but also it just means that a re-gank opportunity is possible once that Paranoia comes off of cooldown.
Little ways away from some other objectives. 2 minutes and 50 seconds until the Rift Herald is up. Taking a look at some item completions. We've got the Proto Belt coming through for Creme. Tien's on his Sundered Sky on the other side. Knight's got that Lunes. We've got the Hexblade onto Shun. Do see a little bit of a scrap here in this mid lane. Viper has moved over, has the Chains of Corruption available. Stuns onto Fengyue. They're going to lock him down. It is another pick for BLG.
Yeah, really good just punishment there from BLG. Fengyue is kind of laughing in the player cam. You can see there a bit of a smile. He understands that he might have overstayed, underestimated the Varus damage, so it's just free gold going over to BLG, but Top Esports are going to pay that back in full as Zwayon should be able to claim the first turret. It's 1 HP. I thought he was going to hit it, but decides not to and just plays the long game.
He's got no flash, which means he is liable to die to Sion. It's not like he's going to be able to really kill Bin in the straight-up 1v1. We're really looking for Zwayon to make his impact in some of these fights a little bit later on with these empowered shock blasts. As see JiaQi finally getting a plate. It's but a crumb, though. He's down 1.4 thousand gold right now. He's still not particularly close to Trinity Force. 2/3 of the components there. He's got his brown bag boots. It is a tough game for the top esports AD carry.
Yeah, just give him like a hobo stick while we're at it, I guess. As, I mean, Zoyan just really wants to try and push Bin. You can see that Fengyue is in the area, so if he tries to stop him from taking this turret, they're just going to go onto the Sion.
All right, we're getting Bin's flash out there because Tian is up here as well. They have the damage. It's going to take a little bit of time, but Bin is completely locked up, and no one is coming to save him. It's Zoyan getting his first of the game.
And you can see that the rest of top esports, both Creme and JiaQi Love, understand that this is kind of BLG's timer to look for a cross-map play, so he backs up toward his tier 2. This is going to mean that BLG are going to trade at least 1-for-1 in the turret department, and Viper is going to extend that gold lead between the Corki and the Varus even more. It is going to also give them just a little bit more room to work around with for these future Dragons, and that I think is the most consequential bit of it, honestly, Yanni, because this next Drake, it'll be soul point for BLG, and if they get this, it'll not only put them in a position where their win con is only 5 minutes away, but also a Mountain Soul for things like Sion and Nocturne is a very, very dangerous prospect.
Zoyan has just finished his tier item, so he's looking to get that stacked in the next minute and 15 seconds. On shows up into the mid lane, doing what he does best. Fengyue, though, the turnaround, the knockup. On has no ultimate left. Chains of Corruption gets used as well, taking Creme to half HP, but nothing more.
On using that Unbreakable there, should be back up by the time this future Dragon spawns, so nothing of massive consequence coming out here for top esports, or on BLG side, but top esports are going to try and force the issue. They have looked onto the Herald, and because Alistar doesn't have that ultimate available, it does limit what BLG can use in the wake of frontline. Not going to commit to it, though.
No. JiaQi Love finally finishing up that Trinity Force, so there's that spike that we're looking for. Top esports has power on all of their members currently. Again, Zoyan just trying to finish up that tier item as he can. As Herald untouched, Dragon in 20 seconds, it looks like top esports will not be paying attention to this objective. I'd imagine they really want to fight for this Dragon while they have strength in their pockets, in their inventories.
Yep. Mentioned those 2 item spikes. Top esports are getting pretty close to that. Zoyan himself, we talked about being a big win con for this team. This could be a fight that tries to turn around his current trajectory, because although he is 2.1k gold ahead of Bin, it kind of just feels like that is a product of Bin being more behind than Zoyan being ahead. So if they want to try and really push this Jace pedestal forward, this would be the fight to do so.
It wasn't here early enough to really get the shock blast down. Creme is looking for a flank here. Completely unknown for the moment. Lights are out. Look who goes in and goes down. An immediate double kill for Knight. And now the Dragon is getting lower and lower. Tien cannot secure the smite. And BLG make it look easy for the Dragon Soul point.
Yeah, Creme and Zoyan were just split in that fight. The main damage dealers of top esports couldn't get involved at all, Yanni. So BLG, they get themselves soul point, and they take 3 while doing it. BLG should also be able to claim this Herald. They try and look for the tier 1 mid, but they don't have a minion wave enough to actually claim that. But if they can get a Herald, that mid lane tier 1 is as good as dead.
Lots of tools down here for BLG, so perhaps top esports fancy themselves a bit of a fight here. Fengyue really wants to go in. It's going to be Herald secured, Bin with the teleport in.
On?
All right, we are using it. We are using the Herald. On's got to get in there.
Run!
And he does. We'll see how the rest of this fight turns out, because it could be a big disruptor. Instead, he's going to try to charge to the mid-tier 1. But there's a fight continuing in the jungle of BLG. He's going to hop in and look for the second charge. Meanwhile, Bin is on a damn sliver.
The knockup landed.
And now Shun is in the thick of things. They're going to find multiple kills. Top esports bit off a little bit more than they could chew. Paranoia is out. They're going to go in, turn around onto Tien. Shun will finally die. Viper's got no mana, but plenty of damage. Creme on the backside finds a kill, but it's still Knight with a triple. He's just built different on this Mel.
Yep, 7-2-3 now is Knight on the Mel. He is playing super well in this game, but credit over there to Bin for being able to turn that fight around for BLG initially. That knock-up landing allowed for the re-engage of the remaining members of BLG's topside, as well as the zombie after Sion goes down to have some value in that really narrow choke point on the map. So getting a replay here, though, we do see on... Oh, man, it would have been so derpy if he wasn't actually able to get into the Herald in time and just ends up dying and wasting that really valuable objective, but he's super based, goes into the Herald, takes the mid lane tier 1, but then we get another look here, and yeah, I want to see this knock up here from Bin. So, does get stunned, charges it up in the bush after popping W, doubles up the snare land, Shun can go in, and then yeah, the zombie damage as well, forces top esports back. All the while, Viper himself gets a pretty big flank. And then Creme just casually flanks the flank.
Yeah, Creme had to go pick up on after that play down in the mid lane and was not able to do so.
Mom, pick me up, I'm scared.
With the Rift Herald charging into those turrets. So that was a long time where Creme was just not around for that fight. You had to think that if he was there, maybe that fight goes differently for top esports. BLG with a 1.4 thousand gold lead with Baron spawning in 20 seconds, but more importantly, that Mountain Soul in 2 minutes, as you said, going to be such a huge mountain to climb for top esports if BLG secures it, because Bin and On are going to be unkillable, Quax.
Yeah, I also think that, like, this is probably the best timer that top esports are going to get. We highlighted the 2-item spikes coming through here from them, and we're kind of at that break point now. BLG have done such a good job at being proactive around this bot side objective that, I mean, Soul is spawning at like 22 minutes into the game. So they have been taking those basically as they have spawned and really pushing the needle forward and the tempo of this game to the point where a 2-item spike feels like it's kind of now really far into the late game because this is such a big late game objective. So top, they're on their best items. If they can look for a fight here, if they can win any fight, it would be this one. But the rest of BLG are in a really solid part of the game themselves. I mean, Bin hasn't been having the most flashy match with the Sign, hasn't really been having the most flashy series, but Knight is super accelerated on this Mel, Viper is super accelerated on this Varus, and they're super well protected because the Mountain Soul souped up tanks of the team are creating so much space for them in the fight.
Not only that, they have Vert and Barrier and Edge of Night. We're seeing a full engage onto Shoot. He's going to use that paranoia, just really trying to escape. He's so low. He's still alive between worlds. He'll finally go down. Meanwhile, on the backside here, Fengyue getting locked up. The teleport lands from Knight. Knight stunned. You have to get to him.
Knight's locked down!
They burst him out. All they need is one fight, and top esports have some control back.
That's jungle, that's mid. Dragon is up in 15. Baron is up now. There's so many options for top esports to go. Do they want to look into mid? They want to look for more. Viper has to flash.
Yeah, he's caught. Viper's in trouble, trying to walk out, but the big one slams him down. Bin on a sliver, forced to run away. Mid-tier 1 goes to top esports, and the first dragon of the game for top esports will break the soul stacking from BLG.
They get mid-tier 1. They get the dragon as well. You can see teleport is coming through from Bin, but Shun is too far behind. The Nocturne won't be there in time. Maybe they can get a pick onto TN, but he'll escape as well. So top esports find a pick onto the Nocturne, and they managed to deny the big win condition that BLG were so desperately pushing the game forward to try and get.
So crazy. I mean, that's the one thing that your spell shield doesn't help you against is a Rakan, because if he pops it with the knockup, he can just charm you up. And then, I mean, Fengyue just doing absolutely what needed to be done in this fight to give top esports a chance. A really great job there by the top esports support.
And this has been kind of a factor that we didn't really get to see from them in game number 1. I mean, top esports have been a team who not only have these really aggressive early games, as Viper's being engaged onto, teleport from Soyeon.
I love this. They throw everything at him and take him out, and now it's going to be a man advantage for top esports. There's no paranoia up either. Top esports starting to ping around this top side. You know they want to start this Baron up.
But it's really risky to go in for this because you used a lot of ultimates to get that pick onto Viper. Not to mention, Viper also has teleport, so if you're not able to fully send it onto the Baron, that 4v5 is going to turn into a 5v5 much quicker than you anticipate. yeah, just without those crucial ult buds, they don't feel comfortable going for the Nasher. But now, that big gold gap between Viper and JiaQi that we highlighted from like minute 15 below is completely evaporated. Viper is no longer the big man on campus. He has been reduced down in these last few minutes. So another threat from BLG just being significantly, shortened here in game number 2 does make these future fights a lot easier for them.
Remember, Quax, this is where Top Esports is at their strongest.
Yep.
They need to push the envelope a little bit further to have enough control in this game to be able to completely take over. There is going to be a lot of difficulty in that. As Knight gets more items, he's going to deal a lot more damage. BLG down 1.5 thousand gold 24 minutes into this game. Have not lost a series in 69 days. And right now, Top Esports are looking to break that streak. Paranoia got used, and now it's time for Fengyue to go in, but he gets knocked away with that ultimate. He tries to go back in. On's on this backline. Shades of Corruption went down, but didn't quite land. On getting lower between
Creme!
It's a lot of damage. Shun still healthy, but Viper and Knight are full HP with the shock blast to the mouth. Now it's a 5v3. Solar Snare. And there's the ultimate going down and kills JiaQi, but TN finds his way onto Viper and takes him out. Knight doing what he can to stay alive with these roots, but does not have enough damage without his golden eclipse to be able to get more kills. It ends up being a 3-for-1 in favor of Top Esports.
Top Esports are doing it, Yanni! They are getting the comeback against BLG, undefeated team, be damned! They have turned this match around, and it's in such an even state now. These next couple of fights will dictate the game and the series as well on whether or not we're going to 3 or not, but we get a replay. Fengyue looks for an engage. It's a little sloppy, but then the re-engage on the side here from Top Esports' mid and jungle. Creme and TN make the damage, get onto these priority targets. They take down 2. Viper still without that flash. He gets ulted onto by TN. The aggression, the proactiveness. This is why people call TN the best player in the LPL right now.
And look at this damage graph. It's just Knight. That's it. He's the only one dealing this damage.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else. And it's so shocking because BLG, in terms of the rest of the team, throughout the season, they've been really high on the damage numbers.
They have. They've been the team that leads the damage, I believe, in every single one of their roles, or at least is in the top 2. This is a team that loves to fight, loves to scrap, loves to skirmish, and Top have met them on the battlefield every single time, but the lines are being drawn for potentially the last fight of this game. Yanni dragging up in a little over 20 seconds. BLG are first to the river. Everyone has everything, and this would be Soul if BLG managed to claim this objective.
TN just picked up his Guardian Angel, so that's going to be a big boon for this Pantheon. We have no flash on. That is very important. He does have that Ghost to be able to get in a little bit faster, but we're not going to have any flash Alistar plays. Here we go. TN and JiaQi closest to the Dragon for the moment. Shock Blast trying to go down. Fengyue is setting himself up nicely for a flank here. Still hasn't been spotted out. Knight will use that blue trinket, and it will spot out Fengyue. So he'll have to wait for a little bit longer. So Wayon's going to use that teleport to get that big shield as the Dragon is down to 7,000 HP, but not dropping for the moment. It's aggroed onto Top Esports, now over to BLG. Teleport is going to be used by Bin just to get that big shield. I love these teleport plays, Quax. 5,000 HP and beginning to drop. Cream's going to be able to poke out on. Dragon running out of patience. Lights go out. Knock up.
Fengyue!
Look at the backside. Fengyue locks them all up. Down goes Alistar. Dragon secured for Top Esports. Shun's in trouble, flashes away, but Creme will lock him down. It's 2 more for Top Esports, and they set their sights on the Baron.
Fengyue finds the flank. He locks down 3, and the rest of Top Esports, they deal with the frontliners of BLG. They deal with Shun. They get the Dragon. Everything goes up right for Top Esports in the crucial fight to deny the Soul, and now no Shun on the map. It'll be Baron for Top Esports, and they are looking to get the 2-0 up against the undefeated, the international champions, BLG. It has been 70 days since they lost a series, and that streak might just be broken against Top.
And you just take a look on, he gets chunked out so early in this fight. What a flash from TN to prevent himself from getting knocked up by Bin, and then Fengyue. He was looking for the one flank, spotted out, but this time around he's able to take BLG by surprise and break the fight open.
And it doesn't do a lot in the wake of being able to further Top Esports for, you know, pushing forward onto those backliners, but it does so much in being able to stall out BLG's backliners from joining up on the engage that Bin was looking for. As On has a nasty flank onto Creme, but is it going to be enough? Well. Top Esports are going forward.
Okay, Knight is very low, but he's still alive, will finally fall. Bin going to be the next target. JiaQi is diving this turret, and he will find Shun. On finally gets in the fight, but it's too little, too damn late. Top Esports have 4 kills, and Viper is the only man left standing.
And they've got the Baron. The death timers are on 30 seconds to 40 seconds here, Yanni. Top Esports might have just toppled the undefeated BLG here. They have upset the balance of Group Ascend. Everything is now murky. And TES from 0-2 against IG to 2-0ing the first stand champions. The turnaround, the arc, it's all come around.
BLG have not lost a series since February 6th, and that has ended today as Top Esports are the big dogs in the group. 2-0 Quax. Who could have seen this coming?
Definitely not me. Definitely not me. But oh my god, everyone loves an underdog story. And Top Esports, despite going 6-0 in their last 3 series, we're boosting that up to 8-0. This team is looking unstoppable, Yanni.
And for BLG, gotta go back to the drawing board now, because game 1, Bin got put behind. Game 2, you put Bin on a tank, and he wasn't able to have that same impact. Perhaps BLG are a little bit more one-dimensional than we thought, Quax.
Yeah, and it just kind of felt like the best attributes, the best aspects of the players on BLG weren't shown in this series. I mean, Bin wasn't able to, I feel, diff Zoyan in the laning phase, where a lot of people compliment his play the most. Shun wasn't able to have a lot of those aggressive plays in the jungle, crossing that river to look for those invades. We saw very little of that from him. On wasn't able to roam around the map. These factors have contributed so strongly to BLG's success over the last 2.5 months. But Top Esports read them like a book. They had everything down, and they were coming ready with answers. And it's so cool to see that pay off. And honestly, it's got to feel really, really good for TN and JiaQi now coming back in for Split 2 and being able to reestablish themselves as some of the dominant players back on campus.
Yeah, not just them, but like Zoyan too, right? You know, whenever you have to fill the shoes of a guy like 369 who was so good in the first split and has been so good for so long, you know, I'm sure there may have been some internal thoughts like, you know, well, what happens when if, you know, I'm the reason why things aren't going well or something like, oh, you don't have to worry about that when you're 4-1 now, do you? Like, things are rolling for Top Esports. They are the best team in Group Ascend as of right now. Super big ups to them, because this was a series that, again, you have to go and topple the Giants. They've been able to do so, and they got contributions from everyone.
Everyone did contribute to this win, I feel. That is why it is so difficult for me, at least, Yanni, in game number 2, to choose like a specific MVP of this match. I mean, everyone was so instrumental in being able to make this second game a W. And we were worried about this second game because teams have been able to take games off of BLG, but they have always indexed into comfort. They've always gone back to what makes them strong. And that was, again, neutralized here in game number 2. So Top Esports never letting their foot off the gas like so many teams before them have. and being able to race it across the finish line. Major ups to them. And now, so many people who anticipated that BLG would just be able to cakewalk their way through the regular season in Spring Split here. That crowd's real silent right now, and potentially going to be seeing a battle between who is able to get first, which previously until now, Yanni, was pretty unanimously BLG.
And I think there are some worries that, like, oh, this top esports runs like a little fake because maybe Fengyue is not that good and Xueyan is a rookie that's just fine, and, you know, eventually Tien's gonna get punished and Creme's gonna turn back into a pumpkin and JiaQi Love is washed or something like that. And this proved it right here that this team is legit. They are here and they may be here to stay. And I think that is an incredibly exciting prospect when you have this team in BLG who is now being challenged by somebody else, when their previous challengers like JDG are 1 and 2, like Anyone's Legend are struggling at 2 and 2. Now a new challenger will approach again for BLG to try and learn from and improve upon. Take a look at this post game screenshot. You take a look at the damage numbers. It's a beautiful spread from top esports. It's just so damn even. MVP talk, Quax. Listen, I didn't feel that comfortable about saying TN in game 1. I feel very comfortable about saying TN in game 2. I could also see shouts for Fengyue and Creme.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably got to be TN or Fengyue. I mean, these guys were major contributors in being able to start up every fight, and Fengyue on that flank in the fight around the dragon was the difference maker. I think that if BLG win that fight, they win the game and we go to game 3. But because the Rakan was able to charm up and lock down the 3 backliners of top esports, they weren't able to capitalize off the engage from Bin, and so they just were without a frontliner. Bin goes down without really any punishment possible. So I would love to see him get an MVP because, you know this all too well, Yanni. There just isn't nearly enough love for supports these days.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. I know that when we play Hardstuck Castle, I do get all the love, though, because I am just that damn good. But, you know, Fengyue really deserves plaudits for this game and what he did in a lot of these fights. Again, it wasn't exactly the prettiest scoreline. He did have 5 deaths, but his impact in a lot of these fights could not be understated. Even if they were just, oh, well, you're not seeing Rakan go in and then everybody immediately get blown up. It's Rakan slowing down BLG's initial advance after a paranoia goes down. And those are the kind of subtle plays that can go really underrated.
Yeah, I think that Fengyue certainly makes a case for being MVP of this game, at least for me. And that's saying a lot, because the alternative is definitely TN, and I'm the jungler in the call. So when I say the support deserves it, I think the support deserves it. But in all honesty, now, I mean, this really is, you kind of just alluded to it earlier, Yanni, but this gives BLG now a challenge to look forward to domestically. I think that a lot of people are anticipating this team will have international success, but let's not forget, before getting to an international success, you gotta first have domestic success. And so to see top esports challenge them at this level, iron sharpens iron, I think is kind of the term to look at here. So if top can continue this form and consistently challenge BLG, I think that both of these teams will be better off for it for any future internationals we might see one or potentially both attend.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen what happens when teams go undefeated for such a long time or are just so incredibly dominant. They show up to Worlds and lose, Genji. And, maybe we won't have that problem, right? We're going to right the wrongs that have previously been made by other regions here in the LPL, we hope. Because you just take a look at that last fight. I like the idea of the on flank, but the snap engage by top esports, them being so decisive there. Look at Fengyue, so excited, man. Love that for him. But that snap engage just meant that On couldn't do anything. It was too late.
Yeah. I mean, it's 8 a.m. here, and that smile and just elation.
That's gonna get me through the day.
That woke me up. I might not even go back to bed after this. Like, I might stay up. I might power through it.
I might play some solo queue.
Yeah, why not?
That
8 a.m. solo queue sounds like a death wish. But but yeah, you can see the reaction there from the top esports players because they understand the gravity of winning this series and the further implications it could have for the remainder of Spring Split. The Giants, the Kings have been toppled. Top esports had one shot, or two shots, I should say, and they did not miss either of them. So major congratulations to them. And I just got a lot more excited to see what Group Ascend has in store for us, Yanni, because it's unclear who the top of the group is.
Well, it's clear right now, Quax. Let's take a look at those new standings, baby. Because it is very clear who leads the way right now here in Group Ascent. And it is Top Esports at 4-1 with an 8-2 game record. IG and BLG both at 3-1 in second and third. Meanwhile, NIP in fourth at 2-1. Anyone's Legend in fifth at 2-2. JDG 1-2. Weibo Gaming picking up their first win against Team WE, put themselves in seventh. And then poor Team WE all the way at the bottom, 0-5. But the new Kings reign, at least for the moment. It's one thing to beat them in the regular season, but there is still a lot of not only regular season left, but of course, playoffs way down the line.
And it's a double round robin. BLG will get their chance at revenge later down the line, and I feel like that just sets up the rematch. This result sets up the rematch to be so much more exciting because we're, I want to say, around like halfway through the first round robin, and I think that if BLG can continue to be as dominant as they were in the 3 series wins that they saw, this could maybe be their only loss. And if that's the case, I feel like the feud between Top and BLG is just going to continue to grow as time goes on. So I am envious to the people that get to tune in and cast that series. But it was a pleasure being on this one, Yanni. This was not the expected result, but I think the result that some people were silently hoping for to try and get some spice into the top of Group Ascent.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to watch teams continue to go on undefeated streaks and extend them, and it's also another thing to watch them lose, right? And honestly, I think that it's a win-win situation at that point as a viewer, as a caster too. Like, I'm just excited to watch 2 really good teams go at it. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have with the schedule ahead, because this now brings a lot of intrigue to some of our future matches for this week. I'm looking at IG and BLG, and of course this Sunday coming up is going to be, you know, El Clasico between BLG and AL, but also the new upstarts in IG and Top Esports who have been doing really well here in the second split. Quax, anything else catch your eye?
Nothing else too crazy. I will say underrated potential match here is NIP versus JDG. I am personally kind of an NIP believer, even though this team, I think, has had some questionable gameplay right now. JDG have been slumping a little bit. I think relative to what we saw from them in split number 1, they haven't been performing to the same level. So maybe there is potential for an upset in that series, or at least for the best of 3 to be close between the 2.
Yeah, I think that's a big litmus test for NIP because, you know, JDG, obviously, as you mentioned, a team that's kind of slumping a little bit. This is a game that they might see as, this is a get right for us. Let's go out and let's go win. We are the better team. And if NIP are able to take them out, I mean, this will upset the entire balance. You know, split 1 to split 2 will be so vastly different that when you go on Leaguepedia and click between them, you'll wonder if you're looking at the same year.
Yeah. Really exciting series ahead, and frankly, I'm excited to watch them. I think that Group Ascend just really heated up because of this series result, Yanni, and so everyone is going to have their eyes glued to what these Ascend teams have and the order in which we'll continue to see them place amongst each other.
Yep, and how good can they actually be? What is their ceiling? One thing that we know is really good, and the people that we know are great and have really high ceilings, are our elite coffee supporters, Aaron, Soup, and Mung, because their pledged financial contributions will help level up the broadcast and give back to the cast and crew, strive to give you an LPL English product almost every single day. We are still on throughout the rest of the week. As you saw the schedule that was just up a couple of moments ago. Tomorrow, we have Thunder Talk versus OMG. That'll be covered by Bloxer and Gordo. And then that JDG versus NIP matchup we were just talking up from K-Man and Slayer. So you're not going to want to miss out on those. That will do it for us here today. For myself, for my co-caster Quax, hold on. They just finished the interview. So we're going to wait a second to see if we can figure out who the player of the match is, actually. So, Quax, player of the match. You know, we were talking player of the game. Who do you think the player of the match was?
It's tough. I mean, consistently across both games, I really want to say Tien. I think that Zoyan had a lot of impact in game number 1, but kind of slumped in terms of his overall impact in game 2. Fengyue was not the most relevant piece on the board in game number 1, but had a really good game number 2. So I think consistently it's got to be Tien. Boom! That's
player of the game for sure. Understandable. This is what we expected.
Oh, this is player of the game.
This is player of the game. Player of the match should be also being selected. I think that this player of the game for Tien should lock him player of the match based on his impact in this game and what he did in the first game. What do you think?
I absolutely agree with you. I think that Tien had a really solid Pantheon game 2, and overall just being able to lead the team has been an attribute that we kind of talked about being really important when it came to this squad. Losing 369, losing a big leadership role on the team. Tien comes in and he kind of is looked at to fill those shoes, and it looks like he's been doing it spectacularly, not only because of the results that, you know, Top Esports have been managing to put up over their last now 4 series, Yanni, but also because of the way and the manner in which they've been doing it. They've been on the same page, they've constantly been looking for engages, and my boy gets player of the match. That's my season 9 world champion / finals MVP. Love you, bro.
Finals MVP might be split 2 MVP. We were saying going into this match that he's really on pace for it, and he largely outplayed Shun this entire matchup. These guys who are considered 1A and 1B here in the LPL no longer. It is clearly 1 and 2, and Tien runs the jungle here in the LPL. Now we are going to head out and end the broadcast. For myself, for my co-caster Quax, for Ilya behind the glass, for the casters that came before us, and the entire LPL English family, we thank you all so much for being here with us today.